Are we on?
Yeah, we're rolling, baby.
So for the listeners who don't know, I made a bet with one of my friends that I would have a six-pack by his bachelor party, which would mean basically I was talking about how gay it is to have abs, and I was like, I could do it. Like anybody could do it. I was like, it's easy. And then he's like, you couldn't fucking do it. He's like, there's no way you could fucking do it. I was like, I could do it by your bachelor party. He's like, if you could do that, then you don't have to pay for the Airbnb, which is $650. It bumped up to $720, which is fucking insane.
Really? It's gonna be even more now that you're not paying.
Yeah. But I made another deal with somebody else on something. I'm like making multiple deals.
Who's paying for your portion? This kid?
If I have washboard abs.
Yeah. And you're getting there, dude. It's crazy to think. I remember you as chubby Michael Good.
I was the fattest guy in town. I was the fattest.
That's why I always said you had a sweet ass, and then you're like, no, I never had a sweet ass, and I just assume all chubby people have like nice asses.
Nah, I had fucking flat ass,
but your persona gave off like.
Yeah, well, like, dude, I'm from a place where like, I don't know, dude. In Central Florida, if you were fucking a fat dude and you had charisma, you get so much pussy. Like one of my friends was like the fattest dude I knew, and he would just fuck. I mean, he got pussy before all of us.
Really? So that was your that was who you looked up to.
Yeah, well, I think it's like a mix of things. It's like sometimes, like in high school, like the fatter guys look like a grown man, so women are like, "Oh, I want to fuck like not."
Yeah, like they have the dad bod already.
Yeah,
it's already cooking.
And then this dude, like, I don't know what I remember. It was so funny because I used to be like a little embarrassed of him one time. Like we were going to a pool one time, and he was fat, and I was like, "Yo, you know what we should do today? We should do sit-ups." Like I was trying to make my fat friend less fat so we could go pick up chicks. It was when we were like 10 or something like that. But the next thing you know, he's getting fucking his dick sucked. And so I was like, I don't really care about, not being fat. And then I was in a relationship, and then I was like, what, is she going to stop blowing me because I got fat? And that's exactly what happened.
Turns out they do leave after a while.
Yeah.
No, that is, there is something about that because it shows that you don't care. And girls are kind of attracted to that, I think, in a way that you're like, oh, I don't really give a shit. I got other things to worry about. I don't have time to be working out all the time and caring about that, and there's something about that mentality that people find attractive, maybe.
Totally, yeah. You just got to find a balance. I think like it's one of those where if you're fat, I think you also got to like kind of work your arms a little bit.
You got to have something. You
got
to either have killer charisma or something about you, because there are guys that are like they don't have the best like core, but maybe they got like good biceps or something like that.
Yeah. Well, like
so
a
the
lot
parts
of
that are showing.
Yeah, dude, like a lot of dudes in my hometown, they are like, I think their diet's just like they go to they get wings, they eat burgers, they drink beer all the time, but then they just lift weights here and there, and they played football in high school, so they just got big arms, and then like that's like, and they're just bearded, and they're like, and they get a lot of pussy.
Yeah, you can cover up all the mistakes, and by the time your shirt's off, it's almost like too late for the chick.
That was my kind of theory. I was like, all right, she's not gonna like take my shirt off and be like, well, this guy's fucking fat.
But at that point, it's already like, well, we're already here.
One chick called my stomach a clit pad, though. She liked it. She's
really?
like, yeah, it hits my clit in the spot. She's like, I call fat guys clit pad. Dude.
That's hilarious.
Like, that's awesome.
Well, that's going to be gone now. You're going to have to let her know. Sorry. I don't have that anymore.
It would be funny if like I just dramatically start getting less chicks because they're like, ew, you're fucking...
Yeah. Well, there's something about like being in shape that's like you take yourself kind of seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe people are like, what do you... Especially as a comedian.
Oh,
I remember
totally.
I heard Rogan talk about that like he was so jacked at times he would wear like huge sweatshirts so people wouldn't know how jacked he was.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, bro. If you fucking wearing like muscle tee, like you look like a fucking douche. If you're wearing like sleeveless on stage.
That is kind of more acceptable now, though. I feel like Rogan's kind of made it more okay, but you will see guys that are like bodybuilders like wearing shit like that on stage. Like,
it's like, what do you can be a bodybuilder, but it's also like fucking... I don't know. It's like it's distracting.
Yeah, I mean, luckily
I'm
I've never
salivating at your big sexy.
Luckily,
biceps.
I've never been that jacked or had that problem. But also, there's got to be an issue for girls. Like, if you're an attractive woman, do you wear like a sexy outfit or do you not?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. If I was an attractive woman, I'd wear jeans and then just put a dildo inside and just have people wonder if I'm trans or not. Just to dude, that'd be so fucking funny.
That's great.
First couple of years of stand up, I freeballed for like 5 years. I just didn't wear boxers.
Yeah,
because I didn't get the point. I lived in Florida and I was like, why would I wear little shorts under my shorts? It's fucking stupid.
I'm gonna be sweating my balls off. Anyway.
And one time my ex is like, she's like, I could see the head of your penis in your pants, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I gotta change this. And then I was so fat that my pants wouldn't fit and I wouldn't want to get new pants. So I'd just be freeballing and I would just the zipper would close up my pants. So like if my shirt came up, it's just pubes hanging out of my
and
pants,
an unbuttoned pants.
And I wouldn't wear socks, dude. I was like, fuck that, dude. Because I wear Sperry's all the time or like Vans. I'm like, I'm not wearing fucking socks. Just stepping on the backs, dude.
Damn, dude. You are the perfect Florida man, huh?
Yeah, I just did not care so hard about that. There's like other things I cared about, but I was like, dude, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, when you're in college and shit like that, I feel like you can get away with that more. And then as you get older, unless that's your whole identity and you're good at it, like if you're a Bert Kreischer or something. Yeah. And it's like that's kind of cool, like a Chris Farley or something like that.
Yeah, that's got to be great, dude. I mean, he died doing sick shit, bro. He was like, wasn't he like speedballing and fucking like a hooker?
I mean, you got to, right?
That's so sick, dude. It's like I love people that are just like such a tragedy. I'm like, that's the best way to fucking. That's so cool.
If you're gonna do it
it's like that guy's lived more than fucking like 90% of people. Like,
right.
Like just
a week in his life is probably condensed average person's entire life.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's just really like I think it is a mix. Like I'm sure looking at your child's eyes is wonderful, but also like, dude, when you're getting your fucking dick sucked, you're on Saturday Night Live and you're shooting coke and heroin into your veins, that's,
you're like, that's pretty.
And he's playing fucking sick music too. He's playing some Led Zeppelin.
Well,
or something
the big win is if you can get through all that stuff and then get sober, survive that, and then live later. So then you have all those stories.
Oh yeah.
But you can also, have a kid and have a family, like have a normal life out. You can do all the shit that normal people do, but also you got to have all that.
Dude,
that's the way to do it.
Well, my favorite thing is you ever meet somebody like, bro, I know some people who've like done heroin, not gotten addicted, and they didn't have to get sober. They're just like, yeah, no, I did heroin, like stop that, and now I just drink beer. And I'm like,
I feel like I could do that.
I feel like I could. This is what I think.
You have discipline now, which is a new side. I don't know.
I don't
know if you even knew this about yourself. Did you know that you could?
To this level, no. But a lot of it too is like I'm so fucking broke and I can't afford this bachelor party. And then the second part is like him saying there's no way you could do it is a really push. Because dude, bro, it is like, not to be cocky, but it's like borderline insane. The transformation. I've lost 40 pounds in 6 weeks.
Right. And it's one thing to lose weight and then just be like some skinny guy, but to lose the weight and then turn it into abs is even more impressive. It's like it.
Yeah, because I'm not really starving myself. I mean, I'm eating like 140 grams of protein a day.
Because you have to find that balance between starving yourself, but also having enough energy.
Yeah. So I don't have. I mean, 140 grams of protein is like what my maintenance is at 190. So like I weigh way less than that now, but I'm like 190 at 140 grams of protein. You're not losing muscle mass apparently, but I don't know. But
I think the most shredded I ever was when I was the most broke I ever was, because I would do black coffee from Starbucks. I'd get a refill. I'd refill you can get a refill at Starbucks if you stay there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so you can get you can just keep getting iced coffees all day there.
Oh my god.
So I would hang out at Starbucks and try to do work, which obviously wasn't working well because I was the brokest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But then I would do Zyn. Zyn was or the knockoff Zyn was like $2.50, so I would get that, and then I would get like maybe some like almonds or something from 7-Eleven and just eat, and that would be my day. And if I was lucky, I'd have like Chipotle at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. See, I'm not doing that. I'm just eating shrimp. I'm still getting a lot of protein. I'm doing egg whites, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the funniest people like, you need carbs, and I was like, dude, I've been fucking doing, dude.
You have a backlog of carbs probably from.
I got a backlog.
From your
then
old
it's like,
pizza
bro,
days.
I'll fucking do Adderall, go to the gym. I've snorted Adderall and just gone to the gym and just pushed it.
I'm not doing. Yeah, you're not doing it like fucking Andrew Huberman style.
No,
You're just getting there. You're not doing it like the most healthy
pre-workout. Start to get full. Throw a Zyn in. Drink a sparkling water to fill me up.
You don't have Zyn with you, do you?
No, I get exactly 3 left.
I'm not Zinning right now, but I only allow myself to Zyn if other people have it. So now I'm just constantly going around like a crackhead and be like, "You guys Zyn? You guys Zyn?" And I'm like, at this point, I just might as well get a fucking tin.
Dude, my thing is this: I wasn't like I always go in and out with nicotine, where it's like I smoked cigarettes when I worked in a restaurant and drove for Uber just because it'd keep me up at night.
You smoked cigarettes when you were Ubering?
No, like I would walk outside the Uber.
I was gonna say, in your own car would be.
Bro, that was the
nuts.
best job of my fucking life. I love that shit, dude. I picked up crazy motherfuckers. Chicks.
Where'd you do it? In Florida?
Yeah, dude. I picked up drug dealers. I picked up like fucking chicks who try to fuck you all the time.
Wow, you had a different Uber experience than I did.
Yeah.
I did some Uber in Miami and then in Naples.
Well, Miami is a very money obsessed city. So probably like this fucking Uber driver. I did it in College Town and then Orlando.
Yeah. So you were like the fucking king of that town. They're like, this guy has a car and kind of a job.
Dude, it was the shit, bro. Yeah. I feel like he's very successful. He's not addicted to crack.
This guy is an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Dude, it was so fucking fun, bro. I would fucking like... I remember one time I was in a relationship and this chick's like, she was like kind of drunk. She's like, can I rest my head on your shoulder? And I was like, well, that's not cheating. I was like, that's like reasonable. Like,
She was in the front seat
yeah.
by herself?
Yeah.
That's always psychotic. I've only had a couple chicks do that, but I know they're
Dude, I have that
psychotic.
all the time, yeah. And then she like put her hand on my leg and started going towards my dick. And that's when I was like, I have a girlfriend. Now, I said it at the
good for you.
slowest rate possible. I was like, I have a girl.
You mumble
She's
it,
like
so
jerking me off, like licking it to
You're
my
like,
dick.
I tried to say it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude. I had a guy, so it's gonna be not as cool. Already we know it's not as cool a story as that one, but he's in the front seat. Clearly gay guy, but nothing non-threatening gay guy.
Right.
So I thought his family's in the back.
Non-threatening gay guy?
His cousin
Maybe to you.
doesn't
To me,
exist.
they're all threats. I see one of those guys. I'm like, hey, watch out.
So his family's in the back. He's got like a cousin and a sister and another cousin in the back. So his family's there. We're having the family's having a conversation in the back. Me and him are talking up front. We get to the end of the ride. He just reaches over and grabs my dick and then leave. Doesn't even look back to see like if I was like, hey man, that was great or
Jesus
anything. Just
Christ,
fucking does
dude.
it and gets out. And I'm like, dude, your family's right there.
That's wild, dude.
I was like, that is the boldest thing to do. And then to not even look back and be like, yeah, man, I'm into it. You know?
Yeah, he's like, dude, that's so rapey because he's not even like,
He knows
he knows that you're not into it.
Yeah.
because he's not like, oh, I could turn this into a fuck. He's like, I'm gonna take what I can get.
Yeah.
And like,
Which is so weird.
dude, that's like so. Yeah, no, I had the one thing that really bothered me as far as homosexual experiences, which I've had a lot, but this dude. One time after a show, he's a very bro-y guy, kind of like me. He's like, yeah, dude, great fucking set. Loved your comedy. Put his hand under my shirt and hit like the side of my stomach. Like touch like the side of my stomach with my fingertips, dude. It made me so... I was like, dude, I would rather you grab my balls.
Right.
Because you're so into me.
And like tickle it. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, and I was like... I giggled, I'm like... yeah, well...
Were you chubby at the time, or were you...
Yeah, I was chubby. Yeah, I was just
which
like...
is even
bro.
more offensive when it's your chub. It's like, come on, man.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was just like, bro, you're like... I don't know, you're deeply, obviously, closeted homosexual because your persona is just like, yeah, what's up, dude, man? But you're like...
And when they get drunk, they get very handsy.
Yeah. I remember when I drove for Uber, that was the funny part, too, is I used to drive this gay guy around. He's like, bro, I fucked dudes in all these fraternity houses.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that is accurate when guys are like, oh, I turned a straight guy or I sucked off a straight guy or something. I'm like, I don't think you did that to... I don't think that was a straight guy. I think that was a gay guy that just needed a little push.
I don't know, man, because I'm like... I get somebody being blackout drunk and they're like, yeah, maybe. And then I could see somebody doing that. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like you get a straight guy blackout drunk.
Yeah. And then be like, hey, man, I'll suck
It's the end of the night. He's just in a point of his life where he's confused and he's
no
depressed.
chicks are into him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I could think it's a girl. I fuck my hand. That's enough.
Yeah. What's the difference?
One thing I was talking about that's really funny is like, you ever hang out with a guy so long that it fits the timeline of a date, so it feels like you guys are gonna have sex, even though you guys are both straight. You would never fuck them,
right. But at the end, they're like, "You want to come up and watch and like play video games?" You're like, "Yeah, I guess I kind of do."
Yeah, and you're like, this
And
momentum.
you're like, "Oh, I'm a whore."
Yeah. You're like, this momentum. If we were sexually attracted to each other, would be where we fucked. Like you're just hanging out on the couch with the guy, and then you hit that like you're watching a movie, and you hit that like kind of silent moment where you're all looking around. You're like, dude,
Yeah,
if you were a
what
chick,
should
we
we
would be
do?
fucking
Yeah.
right now. But this is not.
Right. Or you're having such a good time and they're like, dude, let's do one more drink. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do one more drink. They're like, dude, come on, have one more drink.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'll do one more. And you're like, oh, that's what that's what we're doing to chicks to try to get them to hang out. They're like, no, I have to go. But it's like, really, I want to do another drink, but I'm trying to be like responsible. And that's what a girl is.
That was me. Dude, that was me the other night. I went out. I've got out sober for the first time the other night. I did karaoke. I did like a bar makeout sober. It felt so weird.
That's wild.
You feel drunk when you're at a bar.
That's
sober.
the thing. You don't really need alcohol. I did a nice late coffee date the other night, and I'm like, this is better. I feel more into it than alcohol. Because if you have a couple drinks, you're kind of like sloppy. With coffee, I'm fucking locked in.
Well, and I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like when I go back to drinking, which will be very soon, and it'll be very heavy.
Yeah.
But what I am going to do is
You're not drinking it for the abs right now.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But what I am going to do is like I'm trying to reduce those first couple drinks because those are nervous drinks. You know when you show up to the party or the bar or the date and you're like,
yeah,
all right, let me fucking slam 3 quick so I get like to that place because I do that. Like I'll be like, all right, let me fucking slam some so I'm like on everybody's level.
Yeah,
and shit like that. I'm like, let me reduce those. I'm still gonna do the ones at the end of the night where I'm like chugging vodka and like because those are like in the moment. That's the spirit. But I want to reduce those beginning ones that are just kind of like to deal with nerves because it's like I don't fucking need that shit.
Yeah, they don't make you any sharper. That's the thing I've noticed about. I feel like drinking in general it's not going to improve me, especially on like a date or like before comedy or something like that. Maybe after you do comedy, I'll have like a couple to like. Basically, I know the night's done. But if I'm trying to like interact with people and be out and be social, alcohol is not going to really help me in any way to do that.
I think that's just you.
Yeah,
it helps me a lot.
Really,
it makes me takes.
Yeah,
me,
well, you're a party animal, dude. How have you been doing it without drinking? So you've gone out and with women and been like, hey, I'm not drinking right now.
Yeah,
and they're cool with that.
It's like this girl came to a show like a month ago. Mm-hmm. Got her phone number. She kind of ghosted me, and then she showed up the other night to a show. The show got canceled, but we ended up just hanging out and talking, and then we went to karaoke. We did karaoke. We made out a bunch, and then but I was like at a karaoke bar. I'm like on the stripper pole, like swinging around. There's a stripper pole at karaoke, and then I was like, oh, I didn't need booze to like be this wild.
Yeah,
but
once you're blended in with everybody else there, you're like, oh, nobody knows that whether I'm drunk or not drunk. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it also helps it's not a crowded bar. Like sometimes you go into a crowded bar sober and you're like, oh, fuck this. I have a really funny thing though. So I've been pushing myself to talk to more chicks on the train because I'm like, let me get out of my comfort zone with drinking. Like I know all my moves in a bar. Mm-hmm. I have like my little go-to moves to pick up chicks at bars. But I'm like, let me try let's see what it's like on the train. Which I've done before. I've gotten like a number here and there, but I never fucked anybody from the train. But I was on this train.
Never fucked a dead body on the train?
No, somebody did that, bro. That's
the next level.
It's hilarious how like depraved that is, dude. You're like,
just when someone said that to me, I'm like, there's no way that's true. Just like when someone said like, oh, they lit somebody on fire on the train. I'm like, no, impossible. I don't understand how that could add up. And then that one, I'm like, oh, that's the craziest thing
that could ever imaginable, dude.
Yeah.
It's like there's literally nothing like. It would be like people were like, what happened at Chili's? Big somebody fucked a goat. You're like, no, they didn't. You're like, that didn't fucking happen. And then you're like, it's really funny too because there was a time period where I was like,
wait, what happened to who? Chili's?
No, it'd be like somebody fucked a goat at like a Chili. You're like.
I thought you were giving an example of something. I was like, did I miss this story? Someone fucked a goat.
But it's like just shit that like you're like, this is so insane that it has to be hilarious.
Like every high school has that story about some girl blowing a dog or something. Right?
Yes, dude. I knew a guy who really funny. There was a rumor that a dog licked peanut butter off his balls, and then he became like a professional surfer. And I always think that was because of that. Like he was out there on
so much trauma.
Well, he's just like, dude, I got to get people talking.
I got to
about
overcome.
Yeah. He's like, dude, I got to get. So he's just out there every morning at 5 a.m. just ripping
like,
it. He's
fuck it. If I get eaten by a shark, it's better than at least.
People thinking I'm the guy who got his fucking.
I'll be the guy that got eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? Talking to chicks on the train. That's a tough one, dude. I've tried to do.
Everybody comes up and looks at you. The second you walk up to a hot chick on the train, everybody stops talking. They're like, what has he fucking got?
That takes serious balls. I've been trying to do a joke about that I tried to talk to a girl on the train and she ignored me. So then I just had to pretend I was schizophrenic the rest of the ride. And then you blend in way better with people on the train.
Yeah.
Because people are just like, guy. Oh, he's schizophrenic, like all of us, like everybody else on the train.
He's not just
which would be way more normal than a guy who's trying to like talk to a pretty woman on the train. That's fucking crazy. That's lunacy.
Yeah, it's so funny too because it's like, yeah, that's more acceptable to be a schizophrenic, but this was funny because like I saw a girl and like you always try to map it out with stops. You're like, how many stops do I have? And I was like, okay, I got enough time to talk to her. And I pussed out and I was like, you're a fucking coward. You're a bitch.
Throw yourself in front of the train.
Yeah, kill yourself right now. I was like, dude, you know what I should fucking do? I was like, next train, there's a hot girl and I'm gonna talk to her. So I sit next to the girl on the train. She's hot. I go, okay. I start talking to her. Opens her mouth, smiles, God braces.
Yeah. So she's like 12 years old.
She's like.
No, there's some chicks that are. You can find a chick in their 20s with braces.
Right. But then I notice across from her is her family, and I'm like, I think this girl's like 16 or something like that. But I was just like,
hey, at least you did it. You know?
Yeah, there is a part of me. It's like, hey, you went for it. I mean, that was the worst case scenario.
That would be so funny if there's like a montage of you getting arrested. As you step off the train, you're getting arrested.
Yeah,
and you're like, I was just trying. That's what happens when you try to be bold and do something out of your comfort zone.
You know what I wonder? I wonder what the laws are. Like, what is the closest you can get to fucking a 16-year-old that's legal? Because, like...
Yeah, technically it's not illegal to talk to her, but...
Because I always get really uncomfortable with comedy shows. Even when somebody's 17 and I'm, like, doing crowd work, I'm like, I don't want to talk to 17-years-olds about sex. It makes me really uncomfortable. But I'm like... Because I'm a hero and I'm not a pedophile.
Right.
But...
if this mic's on...
Yeah.
For the record.
But fucking yeah, I wonder like what the like how far you can go until it is like
yeah, I would say probably just like talking to one. Yeah, any like text messaging back. I guess if like if you're just text messaging with them, it would be like why you texting with them. You could argue like, "Oh,
I guess
I'm just
grooming,
friends
right?
with 60-year-olds."
Yeah.
That's a tough one to do, but I mean, I probably legally you're not in trouble until it's. That's
the only question I'm asking. By the way, this isn't me being like, "What can I get away with?"
Right.
I am very curious as to what that line, like.
Well,
I know
it's like
more.
It's like looking up age of consent in a in your state. It's like you're automatically guilty, right?
Yeah,
it's like why are you looking up age of consent?
Like, could I hold hands with a 15-year-old girl? Like, I wouldn't do it, but it'd be so funny to like have somebody be like, "Yeah, you Michael held hands. You didn't fuck one, but like, what the fuck is wrong with him?"
He just wanted to really fucking edge his pedophilia. He's really wants to get. He gets a rush out of, but he's responsible. But he does get a huge rush
How
out of
close
it.
could he get with that? Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, even just asking that question. You probably get.
We should let's call 911. Hey, how close can I get to fucking?
I need to know right away. Away.
I'll leave this apartment right now. How far is it? Yeah. It's a fucking. It's so funny because such a topic. Everybody, even myself, it's like I'll make these jokes and immediately I'm like, oh fuck, dude, is everybody like the biggest fear for me? It's such a fear of looking like a pedophile. It's such a fucking like. Louis has that joke about.
I was gonna say Louis has a bit about every fucking thing. Anytime like a conversation comes up, I'm like, oh, Louis has a bit about that.
Yeah,
I forget how the bit goes.
Well, the bit's about is like everybody is so scared. The man's biggest fear is getting caught fucking a kid. He goes, it's not based in logic. It's not.
Even if he's like, I would never do it. You're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get caught. They're gonna catch me.
Yeah. It's like being like afraid of sharks, but you live in like the desert. Which that's like a kind of thing. It's like you have things you're afraid of that aren't logical.
Right.
But like, yeah, dude, that's such a. It's such a fucking. What is it like? Like me on the train, I started freaking out when I saw braces. Like, fuck, dude, am I gonna go to jail? Like all this stuff.
Right.
But I noticed so much when I do like pedophile jokes, like you could see everybody just being like every dude wants to look so hard not like a pedophile. That's why there's all those like the content online. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like you should be thrown in jail, obviously, if you're a fucking pedophile. But everybody online has that mentality. They're like, fucking, we line them up and shoot them all in the head. It's like you're just trying to prove that you're not a pedophile.
Right. How anti-pedophile can I be? It's like how ungay can I be? The more ungay you have to try to be, the more people are like, maybe a little gay. Maybe there's a little gay in there.
Yeah. But it's a problem we're never going to fix because we're so uncomfortable talking about it.
Louis also had that bit about like having real life child sex dolls.
Oh yeah, and everybody's like, oh, it's like, oh, let him fuck your kids.
Yeah, he's like, you figure it out then. You come up with a better idea,
dude. That's why I'm like, bro, crazy take. AI, let him rip AI child porn, but this is the rule.
I think that's been brought. I forget where I heard that recently. People were like, yeah.
You may have heard it from me, but you didn't hear me saying it too loud. That's one of those things you go, well, this is my perspective.
Maybe it was on the Morning Good podcast.
Yeah. I don't think you should just like legalize AI child. I mean, I don't know. Technically, it's a victimless crime, so I'm like, technically it should be legal. But this
almost if you're a pedophile that's like, hey, I have these thoughts. I want, like, I raise my hand and be like, hey, what can you do? And you're like, okay, you're a responsible pedophile. You get to come watch this AI.
Oh, that's so funny. If you could like prove like the ones, it's like basically you get like a timeout if you fucked a kid. You're like, you don't get, sorry,
no AI
no cookies for you. Yeah. Well, because it's like what should be is like there should be like a center or like something like that where like if you are a pedophile, you like register with them. You're like, look, I'm an at-risk.
I want to get out ahead of it.
Yeah. And then they're like, all right, well, this guy's already outing himself. So he already, because like the problem is like obviously people that aren't pedophiles like hopping on there and being like, shit. You know what I mean? And then somebody's like, this is hot. Like somebody who
right, they're using it the wrong way. They're using it as fun. But if you
don't want to make
other
more
people,
pedophiles,
right?
You take people that are already pedophiles. They admit they're pedophiles. They put themselves on like it's not the registered sex offender list. It's the pre-registered sex offender list.
Getting out ahead of it.
Yeah, where you're like, look, let's solve this together.
Who's got that joke about like people who get molested are more likely to molest? And he's like, so the only solution is when a kid gets molested. When a kid gets molested,
throw him in jail.
Throw him in jail.
Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Unless somebody else has done this bit.
Maybe.
I used to do it at Mike's, and then somebody made a video of me doing it in like bad takes. Like there was like a bad takes video that's
hilarious.
Mario Stowe had. I hope nobody else has it because I was trying to work that out as a bit. Yeah, because it's like that's the one thing almost all of them have in common is that they've been molested. So like the idea is just throw the kids in jail when they've been molested. But
so fucked. But
yeah, but no, it's not a genuine idea because it's
right.
It's
most jokes aren't.
That was one though I would say, and people would start nodding and be like, "Yeah,
kind of." Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to have a weird perspective on this. I don't actually. That's a good idea.
Like, yeah, it was entirely their fault in the first place. So,
dude, we for sure had one. There was this lifeguard at this country club I was a member of, or I guess my parents were a member of, and he was probably like 22, and we were like 14, and he'd take us like laser tagging, indoor rock climbing, and then like I think he was for sure a pedophile. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't have any memories. I don't think I was molested or anything. Right. But it was really funny because like my parents wouldn't let me hang out with him after a while, and I would get in such arguments with them. I was like, you guys just don't get him. Like I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And now looking back at it, I'm like, that's crazy. Like I think we're so much more pedophile aware now, which is good. Because like now
you're lucky your parents were even on top of it. Most parents back then would probably be like, yes, it's fucking.
It's so great.
It's normal.
He gets to spend the night over at his house. He's teaching him wrestling.
Like those kids that those parents that let their kids hang out with Michael Jackson and like didn't even think twice about it. We're just like, yeah, he wants to have a sleepover because my kid, of course.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
And then in hindsight, it's like, oh fuck,
dude. That's why I think he's guilty because he admitted to sleeping in the bed with little boys. Why would you take that risk if you weren't getting laid?
Right.
That's such a risk for no reward. Like that's the kind of risk a dude takes if he's like, dude, I need to come tonight. He's like, all right, might get in trouble, but let's fucking like that's a fucking.
Yeah, it's also weird how much we like those documentaries, right? Like everybody was like, oh, you got to watch the Michael Jackson thing. And I'm like, I've never gotten through like 4 hours of pedophile talk and be like, man, I needed that. I really needed that today. Well, like that was exactly what I needed.
There's got to be a word there is a word for it where it's like something that's so terrible that you want to watch it. Kind of like somebody's like, all right, I got a video of a guy getting eaten by a lion on my phone.
Yeah.
Most people are going to be like, all right, fucking.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, let me see. Because you want to understand evil.
Maybe that's why. Maybe there's something primal in us that's like, I want to see it so it doesn't happen to me or something.
Yeah, and I think there is like a lack of understanding. Like you're like, I want to, like for me, like I've watched a serial killer documentary here and there. It's not really my thing, but I'll watch
chicks, I guess, like it because for some reason they like it because it's not them or something. Or it also like teaches them like how to not.
That is funny. Like, yeah, stupid bitch.
Yeah.
If I could deserve it, if I could dumb bitch.
I would like to see video of the guy on the fucking the corpse on the train because they have to have video of that.
Yeah, I mean that is like, you know
Somebody
what? I'm
has
gonna
it.
say this. I'm over here. I was just trying to look like a good person. I was about to say, I
wouldn't
know
see that. Yeah,
no
yeah.
part of me is curious at all about that.
Yeah.
If they could blur out the corpse and just see the guy fucking something,
Or I'd like to see the guy realize there's a corpse in his in his head go from like look around and be like, I'm gonna fuck this.
yeah. If you could just see the wherever
The
that
thought
decision
bubble.
was
Yeah,
made.
yeah. That's all I need to see, and then I'd be like, all right, I don't need to see the rest.
Dude, it's so depraved. And I don't know, like, was it like, I mean, it's literally like the most depraved thing you could do is fuck a corpse. And to do that in public is like so insane.
Well, that means that he's probably going around fucking people that he thinks are sleeping, right? He's probably
a rapist.
Yeah.
But the funny,
he's probably doing it to people that are sleeping. He probably thought the guy was sleeping, and then he was just like, which doesn't make it any better, but
it
it's
would
kinda
make it
like-
worse. I mean, Louis has a bit about that. I mean, we just keep go about that, but he has a bit about like it's like better to fuck a dead child than an alive, which is so fucking. It's so fucked up. But I mean, it's crazy that guy was on GQ magazine. What a different.
Was he?
world. I mean, yeah, dude, that guy was like Louis, like not the guy who.
Oh, I thought you were
fucked
talking
dead
about the guy
body.
who fucked the dead body.
No.
Like, that guy was
No, but Louis, you're like the guy who's talking about some people fucking dead child bodies was like the top. That's so funny. It was like winning the Mark Twain Award. But somebody made this joke. I hate fucking taking credit, but somebody made the joke about like if he was just as disturbed when he found out he was dead. He was like, ew. He's like, oh, I'm over here. Ew, I thought this was just an asleep person.
Yeah, he's grossed out by it. That's funny.
Well, I wonder too. It's like, did he kill the person and then fuck them, or
No, I think the person was dead, just hanging out there.
how many
and he
fucking
was
dead
like-
bodies are just floating around?
That was the other thing. I'm like, I didn't know that happened. That's another thing I have to look out for. Now I'm wondering, like, all the people I've seen on the train, I'm like, there's a good amount of them that could have been dead.
Yeah, we've
That
probably
people
seen
just
dead
think-
people.
Yeah, people you think are just sleeping, but
Yeah, I've never seen a dead body outside of like a wake. But dude, somebody got fucking murdered. Apparently, I was out of town, bro. Apparently, this Mexican dude got beat up by other Mexican dudes with baseball bats and murdered in front of my apartment
really,
at 2 a.m. I'm like, bro, I cannot imagine hearing those screams. I probably thought it was a pinata, but it was like, dude, I cannot like.
that's crazy.
Baseball bats is like so evil, dude. And then just the idea that fucking like, you know,
Yeah.
in New York you hear a lot of yelling, and you're like, I doubt that's somebody actually getting murdered, just because you're so used to it. You're like, you hear like somebody screaming, and you're like, oh, do I gotta
Right.
be a
Yeah,
hero?
it'd be
You're
pretty
like-
easy to do it, I think, in New York because nobody would care. But also,
What's also a Hasidic neighbor? I just picture like four Hasidic guys being like, nope, I'm gonna walk the other way.
well, also when you're killing, you wonder if you're killing somebody with your buddies. If like you all got to be on the same page, you all got to be equal levels of psycho. You can't have anybody be like, hey man, maybe that's enough. Maybe we hit him enough with these bats. Like he doesn't seem to be much of a threat, and I think he learned whatever lesson we were trying to teach him.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's like one person,
Oh,
you
also,
kind
sorry,
of
they were
get
Spanish. I gotta read. They were baseball bats. That's how you say it.
it. Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your Spanish coming along? Have you ever dabbled in the Spanish language or
Yeah.
dated? Have you dated Spanish?
Dude, I actually
Chicks?
have like a lot of. Wait, there's one more. Sorry, there's one more thought I had on this fucking thing.
Yeah, but I feel like my podcast always gets brought back to Latina women somehow.
Oh, nothing wrong with that, dude. So I did like an exchange program. I'm from Florida, so like in general, Spanish is like a thing. I did an exchange program when I was 14. I did when I was 16. So when I was 14, my family sent me to Spain to stay with some 16-year-old kid.
What?
And it was crazy because like everybody else is like, they're like, that's insane. You're letting him go to Spain. And my
Damn,
parents,
they really wanted you to get molested. They're like,
Yeah.
come on, somebody, anybody.
somebody fuck my son. But
Were you a cute kid?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a little Justin Bieber haircut. I was just kind of coming back now. I'm gonna get cut soon, but
Damn, fuck yeah, dude.
But dude, I literally just got so fucked up. It was so funny. I was 14. I was already doing drugs and stuff, and like,
Really? Well, because you were in Florida.
oh yeah. And then I went over there, and the kid I was thinking was 16. He was so sick because I was like, I remember the conversation. I was like, fumar marijuana. He goes, yes. He was like getting hyped because he thought I was gonna be like some fucking loser.
Yeah,
And then he's
some
like,
square.
drink alcohol. I was like, yes. He goes, fuck yeah. And so, dude, we would just go like, first off, it was very funny because I get there and he's like, we got to change your wardrobe. So he just dresses me like a European douche. I'm wearing like the polo with the giant polo guy on it, like popped collar.
Yeah.
With, like, fucking like some sort of.
And
Nike.
what were you supposed? How long were you there for?
I was there for like 2 months.
And you were supposed to. What was supposed to happen here?
So the first one was through a Rotary program. So it was just like I go there, he comes here. The second one I took classes. This one was over the summer, bro. 0 classes. Just stayed with this family.
What's it through? It's through the school?
It's through the Rotary, which I don't really know what it even means.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I get there and like he dressed me like a douche. I'm smoking cigs all the time because I can't really speak the language. So like my only thing to do is just get fucked up. So like I learned a lot of fucked up Spanish. But dude, I remember I would like black out and then like this is back when T9 texting was a thing. And I remember trying to text this guy in Spanish in a nightclub, and it was like the scariest because I was like, bro, I have no idea where I am.
What part of Spain?
Murcia, I think it's by Barcelona. I think, yeah, it's by Barcelona. And then we went to Barcelona. I think it's where it is. And then we went to Valencia, which is like an area. Went to the beach a couple times. But
That's sick. So the whole reason you go there is just to get immersed into the culture and be a 14-year-old.
Yeah, because like drinking there is like, dude, doesn't fucking, you can, and I was just getting fucking shit house. It was so sick. But the problem is like, it was so hard for me to fuck chicks because like, the guy,
14.
Yeah, I was 14, and the dude would try to fucking get me pussy, and then like go end up fucking the girls. It was so annoying. He's like, "I'll talk to that girl for you," and then she'd go suck his dick.
Damn, dude.
One girl really got me bad. This is one of the gayest things I've done. This woman's like, "If you peck your friend in the lips, I'll suck your dick." And I was like, "Yeah," and so I pecked her on the lips, and she didn't suck my dick.
That's
and I was
tough,
like,
dude. You can't turn that back either, huh? You
No.
can't be like, "Oh, I didn't actually do that." They're like, "No, you did
You
it."
did that. But I was gay for pussy, so that's how much I like
it's
pussy.
the best.
But
the best way to be gay.
But yeah, no. And then he went to America. And it was so funny. I was like, he's like, "What do you guys do?" I'm like, "Oh, we smoke pot and ride our skateboards around the mall." Like I didn't have any cool shit we could bring him to. So like it was like, I think we brought him to like a teen club, which is like those were ridiculous. It was like ages 13 to 19.
Yeah,
which is disgusting.
Right, that you're intermingling those things because they're on totally different.
Dude, it was just like
totally different areas in life.
Is there a better word than wigger? Because
that's all it was. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love using that word because I mean, whatever.
There's a word that will probably look worse in 10 years.
Yes, but I'm like, I don't know any other.
But right now, it's not that.
Nobody's
bad
created it. So there's a bunch of guys like that like
Yeah.
sell Molly to like teenagers and then like a bunch of 13-year-olds. So I mean, we'd like go to that and like bring vodka in a water bottle and like drink there. And I'm like, this is America. And he's like, this is fucking gay, dude.
Right, because in Spain, he was basically living like an adult. Like you could do all the shit.
Yeah.
And then you come here and you're living like a child.
But we got him on a couple things. Like, you never smoked a gravity bong before, and we got him we got like a couple of them, dude. Because
I guess that's what we do is we just get more fucked up here. Because we get fucked up like children, basically. Whereas over there, if you're hanging out with adults, you have to get fucked up like an adult.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And then here it's like we're like, dude, I remember we were at this country club, and I got this guy fucking like, I got this one. There was a couple of them because like they heard there were the other Spanish guys going through the program. So like I got this guy so high and he like passed out in the bathroom for like 4 hours. And I'm 14, which is these like 16-year-old Spanish dudes that are like, you know, I'm talking about like, bro, we did like a giant, one of those gravity bongs where you use like the biggest container you can find. It was like a giant orange juice jug.
Yeah.
So like these guys are so high. And I remember just screaming at this kid because I brought him back to my parents' house and he's just high as fuck laughing his ass off. And I'm like, dude, my parents are going to fucking kill me. Like, you got it. He's just like giggling because in his mind, he's like, what are they going to send me back to Spain? He's like, fuck this shit.
So what did you learn Spanish or what was the...
Yeah, so I learned like okay Spanish there, but it was actually that was probably the best I was at Spanish. And then I did, then I went to Costa Rica, and the kid I stayed with there was a fucking, it was so boring. I couldn't do anything there. It really sucked. That was when I was 16. And then I mean just being in Florida like whenever I can, and now I work with Hispanics, so like I'm trying to like learn it,
refresh it. Yeah. It's tough because I've been in different phases where I've like gone hard at trying to learn it, and then other times I'm like, who cares? Like,
yeah, but
especially now there's things out now where you can just translate, like you can wear an earpiece that like translates in real time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
But it is a
solves
good
it.
flex, and
It's great. It's a great flex. And
you fuck Latin chicks. So
I've had a very high success rate with girls that do not speak English.
yeah.
So I'm able to do like enough Spanish to like get by, to at least have the initial
You
conversation to
convinced
like
them you're
get them
Joe
on a
Rogan.
date.
That's
Huh?
why you convinced them you're Joe
yeah,
Rogan.
yeah, they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely had a good success rate with that, and it's in that you realize like it's all about the vibe on a date. It's not like what you say on a date.
Yeah.
It's kind of the energy and like in when you don't speak the same language, you kind of have to have different things to like translate humor and things like that. And if you can like have humor without having the same language, it's like, okay, we're on the same page here.
Well, I had one. The only one I've done like this, as far as I can remember, is this chick who was she was like this 43-year-old Italian lady, and that one was so funny because I don't speak any fucking Italian.
Who does, dude?
Yeah. And then,
Nobody.
So I just sat there while she tried so hard to speak English, and it was so funny because I'm like, I've never had to because normally on a date, like I'm trying, dude. I'm like I'm trying to low key drop brags and not make it look like a brag.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this, and I'm just sitting here with someone. She's like, I go to the store and then I buy the thing, and I'm like, dude, am I fucking a retarded person tonight? Because I was like,
You do feel like you're talking to like a first grader at times.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
why part of me
good
was
job.
into it. But I mean, she's 43, so I was like, all right, she's got a big old bush and stuff. But
yeah, that's great.
But the fucking dude, it was whoa, I had some other thing on this. Yeah, it is really weird when they're putting in just so much more effort into a date, and you're just like, I was just like, yeah, I'm just chilling here. And
That's the thing. Sometimes girls will speak okay English, but then they'll apologize for things in English. I'm like, it's better than my Spanish, so I already can't make fun. Like they're worried about like saying the wrong thing. Or
yeah, you're like, there's one word you
insecure.
can't say. That's it. Throw a W at the front of it. Rip it on the
You're golden.
podcast.
Just let it go.
Well,
But yeah, I'm always like, oh no, when you try to learn another language, you're like, oh no, this is very difficult. I appreciate that you're even trying English, because basically everybody's got to learn English now. So that's the thing. If you just wait long enough, everybody's got to learn English when they come here.
That's good, especially with Big DT as president. He's
Yeah,
gonna make
it's like
everybody
you're
learn
learning English. Otherwise, you gotta if you want to blend in. If you learn English, you're probably much more likely to be
Oh yeah.
pass through the test. You know.
Well, and one really fascinating thing she brought up is like, okay, so like women in America think Italian guys are so sexy and cool and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they can't see the cringe because these guys barely speak English. So she was saying that like a lot of her American friends are like really impressed by Italian guys, and they're like, oh, but she knows those guys are nerds.
Right, but it doesn't translate to here.
Yes.
They just see Italian guy, and in their head, they're like fucking soccer player, Italian stud.
Yeah, but this guy really is like the dweebiest guy.
Yeah, you could be a
like,
loser. That's why I hung out with this Brazilian girl. She's like, if you went to Brazil, you would kill it with chicks. And I'm
Bro.
like, I kind of just want to fucking
do
that.
Well, dude, there's Instagram accounts of like dudes that are just total fucking losers in America, and they go to South America, and then they're just with these like fucking babes. Yeah,
Well, it
like,
helps
for one,
because
they're rich.
they assume you have money. So
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if you have like enough money, you don't have to have that much.
Yeah.
But you have enough that you can kind of do shit. And they just assume, oh, American fucking Leo DiCaprio, Tom Brady. That's who you are.
Yeah.
And they make, you just have to not fuck it up. So in their head, they can make it who they want it to be.
Yeah, totally.
That's kind of 99% of dating anybody, I guess, is just letting them think who you are.
Yeah. And
It's tricking them, basically.
it is tricky. That is why it's really funny that like I accidentally fucked a trans chick. Obviously, no your listeners knows.
You know we were going to get into this eventually.
Yeah, it always comes around.
Yeah.
But it's very funny because people are like, well, she tricked you. I'm like, yeah, that's what 90% of dudes do when they try to get pussy.
Right. It
Not
was
a
a
big
dude.
time trick, but like there's a degree of like I definitely lie about my stand-up income where like when I was like getting unemployment, I'd be like, oh yeah, all my income stand-up.
Yeah,
like I would
yeah.
like lie in that sense. So
Right,
I'm
because
like,
why not let them
I'm not doing like major things to lie, but it's like everybody lies a little bit in dating.
Almost you're lying about the best version of you. You're like, hey, maybe not now this is true, but it's going to be true.
Yeah.
It's like you're manifesting it. So
it's like I do it on my taxes. Like I do taxes for stand-up.
Yeah,
so I'm like, it's not like I don't get paid.
Right. And everybody is kind of lying a tiny. You're basically putting for and yeah, when you want to fuck somebody, which that trans person wanted to fuck you.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
She should have fucking told me, by the way.
Yeah.
Like for sure should have told me,
but I mean,
but it's not like not like she did anything like criminal.
Malicious. But I mean, you hear a lot about people that get like killed that way.
Yeah, which is crazy, but it's got to be like I remember I was hooking up with this chick one time, and her friend was this trans woman, and they're with this super hood black dude. And he's like making out with her trans friend. I'm like, oh, very progressive. Like I was like, I didn't expect this from this.
Maybe
like,
he didn't know,
dude. So funny. So him and his friends were like all like for sure like drug dealers because I saw them outside selling drugs and stuff. And then, dude, we go into a pizza shop and his friend comes in and goes, yo, you got to be for real. Tell him you're a fucking man. It's like you better fucking tell him you're a man. And then the dude comes back and he's like, you're not a man. He's like, right? Like he was trying to like in his head. He goes. It's so fucked up that he's saying that shit about you. Right? And I'm like, oh, dude, this guy. Because when I found out, I'm like, whatever. I do comedy. So I was like, this is fucking 5 minutes of great material. But I'm like, that guy no longer sells drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that guy, his friends find out, that guy's fucked.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking, dude, you know how when certain aspects of sex are involved, like fucking your boss or something like that, like, it's exciting because it's taboo. Mm-hmm. Bro, as a trans woman being like, dude, this guy would so kill me if he found out. Probably has to be such a rush. Like you fuck like the biggest redneck and you're like, dude, this guy fucking finds out.
Yeah. That's true. That's another Louis bit where he's like, gay is so accepted now. He's like, don't they miss the days where it's like, oh, this is killing my mother right now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm breaking my mother's heart.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, there definitely is.
You're like, but it's also like, yeah, it's fucking insane to murder people over that. But also like, don't take risks like that. You should tell people you're trans. I don't know.
But it's like, if you want to, I mean, it's like a gay guy trying to fuck a straight guy. It's like, if he came up to it like straight head on, the guy'd be like, no. But if he can like finagle some weird shit, stay around long enough, wait till he's fucking drunk enough, then it's like yeah, everybody's kind of a little sneaky. Like there's guys that pretend to be fucking woke, like progressive feminists so that they can fuck women. It's like everybody's kind of a little bit, and that's always in like the whatever evolutionary. There's always evolutionary reasons why people act like that.
No, totally. Yeah. That is there's definitely the male feminist guy who you're just like, shut up.
Yeah, that's very easy for us to spot, but for some reason it's tough for girls to spot.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like that does kind of work on chicks, but guys are just like, oh, that guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. It's so weird because there's also like chicks too that'll fuck somebody like. I'm like not a super political guy. Like I guess I lean a little left, but I don't really give a fuck because I'm uninformed. So it's like I'm not.
It's easier to just not.
But I am really attracted to like. There's a lot of liberal chicks that love fucking conservative dudes.
Yeah.
Like they're like, dude, it's really hot. Fuck like a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
They'll say on their profile like not into it, but like I've heard.
Dude, in Florida, I ran into some really hot fucking Trump girls. So I'm like, this is hot.
Oh yeah,
this is really hot that a girl like has a gun.
Pull the fuck out though, because that's they're keeping.
But it's almost like a masculine trait. And I'm like, oh, is this weird that I'm so attracted to a girl that's this fucking?
I'm attracted to like, dude, a fucking liberal chick who's like, you're not gonna use any fuck. You better not say fag or retard. And I'm like, oh, you caught me, like something like that. Like I really want one like, I saw one where it's like, it was something about like. Punishing like conservative for what's it called, like microaggressions. Like, that's not appropriate language. You need to respect women.
Right. Yeah, there's something hot about fucking a chick like that.
Yeah.
I had a girl one time on a date tell me like how bad Joe Rogan was and all this stuff, and I just had to kind of like go along with it and be like, yeah, it's crazy. Because you don't want to like start a fight, but it's also like, oh, this girl kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
also, you still want to fuck her. It's like that Mark Norman joke where he's like, a girl goes into a guy's apartment and he's got Nazi memorabilia on the wall. She's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. A guy goes into that same situation. He's like, I got to fuck her and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, dude, I want to date on this chick, bro. This is like some crazy shit this girl said. She was liberal, but she literally, we're going on a date. She's like, you're not Jewish, are you? I was like, no. She goes, that'd have been a huge red flag.
Really?
And I was like, what? I'm like, that's just anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
that's
are you
crazy.
pro-Israel, this or that?
Right.
And I still fucked. But I'm saying I still fucked her.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
you're
the thing. A girl
crazy
can say the wildest shit, and you'd be like, that's odd, but it's not going to stop my mission right now.
And I am
It
one of
has
those people.
nothing to do with.
I will get in my own way with getting pussy. Like I will stand my ground on things. If I really believe in something, I'm not just gonna. I'm gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna disagree on this. Like I'm not. I won't ever go fully against my core principles.
Yeah. What's an example?
Just comedy stuff. Like yeah, I don't know. Just like anybody who has like specific things with like, just like, oh, you shouldn't say that. You can't say that in comedy. Like any of those kind of like that's really kind of all I really believe in. So I can't really like.
So you won't like leave the date, but you'll just be like, no, I don't believe in that.
Yeah, like I had a
and then
girl-
if she's pissed about that, that's her problem. If she's not
Yeah.
gonna fuck you because of that, at least you stood your ground.
Yeah, like I had a girl, and this is saying retarded isn't a core principle of mine, but like, but I was bringing it up, and then she's like, oh well, like she was like, what was it?
You can't say that.
I was like, all right, well, we're gonna disagree. I was like, I'll try not to say it around you.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
that's uncomfortable. Or like, dude, I was on a date one time. This is a good friend of mine. I used to hook up with this chick, and I really don't think I'm a homophobic person, but I think it's funny to sometimes call your friends faggots. It's just I just do believe that.
Right.
And then she was talking about how some guys were calling their friends fags, and I was like, well, I don't know if they're actually homophobic. And we got into like just a fucking 20-minute like full back and forth about it because I was like, dude, I get where you're coming from, and like I never want to hurt people's feelings with certain things, but
Right.
like how you joke around with your buddies is like so divided, in my opinion, from your actual feelings on.
Right. It has nothing to do with how you feel about
Yeah,
gay
and it
people.
obviously
It's
depends
kind of-
how it is.
It's
Like,
kind of also now because more and more people are saying you can't say it. Now it's like if someone says it in front of you, you're kind of like, okay, they kind of trust me a little
yeah,
bit. That
totally.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay,
Well, it's
they
like
can
if
say it.
somebody, because it's like you're kind of showing them you're like laid back. Now it's like that's obviously way different than if like you're actually like being discriminatory towards homosexuals. Like,
right.
But I don't know why people don't like they like to blend it all together. Now I get it is confusing. Like, dude, if I was a gay dude and I heard somebody say fag, like I get how that would make me uncomfortable if I didn't know.
Right.
Because you're
Unless you're positive that person doesn't have any like malicious intent. Unless you're like, oh, that's my friend. He says that
right.
shit.
But I also like I do believe in like that Lenny Bruce thing. That's like he had this bit where he just said the N-word a bunch, and then he was like, notice the fifth time I said it, it was less hurtful. And I do kind of believe like. As I said, feel free to disagree. Like anybody, like feel free to disagree about this, but I do believe that when you overpower a word, it like it's
gives it more power. It gives it more power, and
Yeah.
then people are gonna say it anyway. So it's like don't
no-
give it any power.
Right. There's
at
no
all.
world where like, and I get these words have power like before that. Like I'm not like, oh, this thing's powerless, and then but it's like it. I don't think it works that way. Of like, oh, okay, well, if we just don't use this word, it'll
Right.
Yeah.
If I shame everybody who does use it, that will make them stop. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
they're probably not going to stop. So what's
now I
another
do want to be
solution?
like less lazy with it because like I've definitely said faggot before, and I'm like, that wasn't really that funny. And I was
Yeah.
like, it just kind of came out, and it wasn't like a. Yeah, like I think if you go to like certain places like Austin, it's like a comic will just say it on stage and just get an applause break, and I'm like, I'm not for that.
Right, because that's more like in response to people telling you not to say it, and it's like that's kind of just as lazy as the people telling you not to say it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as woke comedy, where it's
Right.
like somebody goes up there like, I'm bisexual, and the audience is like,
Yeah. It's the same thing.
It's just two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, hey, Michael, we fucking we did it. We did about as much time as we're gonna do. So
I had a great time.
thanks for coming out, brother. What can people expect from you? When are we gonna get an update on the abs?
Retarded. Dude,
Are you gonna update people on the abs if you win or lose? Because you're
I'm
pretty.
not posting an ab picture.
You kind of have
It's
to,
so
dude.
douchey.
I know, but you're already hit. But not for you because you're not an abs guy, and clearly these abs are not going to last. People would think it's photoshopped.
That's the funny part. People are going to be like blown away. People are going to be like, "What the fuck?" Like, I kind of wish I didn't tell anybody at the bachelor party and just showed up.
Well, then people would be like, "No," because you're doing it for like a silly reason, and it's kind of cool that you actually are doing it. If you were just doing it for the sake of doing it, people would be like, "Oh, Michael's kind of a douche and takes himself takes himself seriously."
I thought about doing a post where I was like, posting pictures of the abs and be like, I got a 6-pack, and since then I've lost all respect for anybody that's got a 6-pack.
That's pretty good because it's so easy.
Because first off, it's easy. Second off, it's a waste of time.
Like, it hasn't helped me at all. Hasn't done anything for me. But honestly, you're probably gonna feel healthier and better, and maybe you'll keep it. Maybe you'll be a 6-pack guy, dude.
Maybe I am. I'm not gonna go immediately back to where I was. Like, I'm not like, part of me was like, I'll just get fat as shit.
But drink it. I mean, it's kind of funny, like the way that what's his name did it on Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
kind of funny to get fat, and then it's funny to get jacked again, and it's like,
the back and forth. I mean, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start mixing in food to be like healthy. I'm gonna have cheat meals. I'm gonna drink a bunch, but I think
it's a good starting point to be like, okay, I'm at abs. That's my baseline. Now I can kind of wiggle back and forth, but at least from here, you're starting from a good point.
Because like 9 weeks, it's not immediately going to go away in 1 week. But like that first week's going to be a little bit, And
you prove to yourself that you can do it. So it's like, if I could do that.
Yeah, well, it showed me. I'm like, bro, I have way more time to work on comedy. And I'm like, and I've spent it all in the gym. But I'm like, this is time I could be using comedy. So like, the time is there. Yeah. Yeah. But Morning Good Podcast. Follow me on Michael Good Comedy on Instagram. If you want me to follow you back, just say you heard me on this podcast, and I will follow you back. If you just want to follow me, then just follow me. And if you don't want me to follow you back,
Do you find that people who follow? Sometimes I feel obligated to follow people back, but then I'm like, maybe they didn't want me to follow them back. Maybe
some people
they just
don't. Some people have like private lives, and they're like, oh, I just want to like.
Yeah. But as like a non-famous person, you're kind of just like, oh, I don't want to be a dick. That's like, well, I'm too good to follow this person. But also at the same time, it's like, I don't really give a shit about a random person's life.
No, but my thing is,
and it feels creepier to just follow somebody I don't know.
But I don't use the main page. Like, I only use Explore on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I don't. You know how you go on Instagram and it's all of your followers and all your stuff? I don't even look at that. So it doesn't matter who I follow. Actually, I have to keep unfollowing people that don't follow me back because I've a couple times maxed out and gotten to the maximum amount of people you can follow, which is 7,500.
What a loser.
I know, right? Yeah.
You're like, come on, guys. Nobody wants to follow me?
Yeah. Because I have like 6,000 followers, so I got to find out who doesn't just to even it out. But yeah.
Oh, is 7,000 the most you can follow no matter what?
7,500, yeah.
Even if you have like 1 million followers?
Yeah, unless they haven't been approved. So if I was at 740... and I followed like 100 people, or 7,400, and I followed like 1,000 people, then once they all accepted, they could reach over 7,500 because it was before. But like you can't, once you hit 7,500, you try to follow people, it says you follow too.
Really? I wonder why.
Oh, it's fucking
because then you're just a spam
probably, but I'm like, I don't really care about ratios, so as long as you see my shit. But yeah thank you.
Whatever, dude. All right, brother. Well, hopefully this should give you a big bump on your
that's what
on
I'm
your
hoping,
socials.
I'm hoping this will put me over the edge.
Well, now that people know you have abs, dude, people are gonna be fucking looking for it.
I know, dude.
Yeah, like, show us those fucking abs, you fucking chunk of meat. Now you're just gonna be a piece of meat, dude. Welcome to the world of fucking being fit, brother.
Oh,
scary world.
I will say the thing I am excited about is like dude, because I always go
to talk shit about fat people now.
Always, yes. Additionally, like I'm very excited, like, because sometimes you go to like there's no real reason to get abs besides like going to Key West. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be shirtless a lot of this trip. So I'm like, I'm gonna milk it, dude. We're hitting pools.
Just any reason to take your shirt off, you're doing
for
it,
sure.
Dude.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I want to be able to show it off a bunch while I got it, and then that'll
get as many pictures as you can and be like, oh, this is me. You could use it for your dating profiles and shit.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And then they show up and they're like, you're fucking, you fat fuck. All right, dude.
Thank you, dude.
Thanks, brother.
Peace.